Hi everybody, good morning, good afternoon, welcome to our Webex session. I am Kamal Makai from the channel team and on today I will moderate our events. The Webex session's topic is about solve your top network challenges with Broadcom. Our special guest and the presenter is Prem Danapati, our dedicated CA consultant. He will guide you on today. In the next 60 minutes on the presentation level, Prem will share you the details of the product. And don't forget, that we will have a technical session also. End of this event, we will take 15 minutes technical break. The second session will be on the different WebEx link. So you need to close this session and you need to join again if you want to attend on the technical part. I will share on the chat if you want to register and attend on the technical session also. In the second session, Prem will present the product on the console level. So this is the plan. The event, as always, will be recorded, and later we will share the recording with you. If you have any question, then please use the chat window. Prem, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kalman. Thank you so much for that. Hi, everyone. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Prem Danapati, and I'm pre-sales consultant for network monitoring solution from Broadcom. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen and we'll go to the presentation. And the next session, as Kalman said, we will be doing a demonstration of our live system. Okay, do let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes. See?
Okay, thank you, Kalman. Okay, so everyone, once again, my name is Prem Danapati. I'm pre-sales consultant, and I'm working with the NetOps solution for almost 10 years. I was in support before, and then I moved to pre-sales. Now I manage, I work as NetOps architect and also pre-sales consultant, right? So when we talk about Broadcom network observability, that is NetOps, right? It is going to monitor all your physical and your virtual networks. Okay, so when we say physical networks, it can be your switches, routers, firewalls, access points, wireless LAN controllers. And when we talk about virtual networks, it is any software-defined network or software-defined WAN, right? So the first slide is, why do we need NetOps? Okay, so there are many solutions in the market. Why Broadcom NetOps, right? So Broadcom NetOps, out of the box, it can suppress alarms. Okay, we have patented algorithms using which the alarm suppression happens, and we can automatically build the topology of your network. So when we discover the devices using the SNMP or in some cases REST APIs, so we can understand or read the tables on your devices, and then we can create a complete topology. So when we say fault suppression, we do correlation. If there are multiple alarms, we can correlate and we can identify the root cause alarm. So you don't have to chase multiple alarms. You will be only working on the root cause alarm, right? So when we talk about scalability, NetOps customers, we have customers who are using more than 300,000 devices, network entities in single installation with more than 6 million interfaces. The solution is very highly scalable. From a medium to a large scale enterprise, the solution can be used for, right? So you can have a single dashboard, unified portal where you can see your network alarms, your performance data, your flow data, and also data from your software-defined network, right? So multi-vendor is something which is there in Broadcom. Okay, we support almost all the vendors in the market. If we talk about the physical network devices, or also the modern network, that is software-defined network or software-defined data center. So almost all of the well-known vendors, Broadcom or NetOps solution is going to support, right? And the last one is configuration management. The system can capture configuration from your network devices. Okay, irrespective of what vendor it is, it can capture the configurations and it can alert you if there is any configuration changes. And apart from that, it can also auto remediate. If there is any configuration change and you want to remediate it back to the previous configuration, the system can help you out to do that. So when we talk about NetOps, okay, so NetOps is used by the NOC operators or even the network engineers and even network architect and even network planners, right? So these are the people who will be using their NetOps solution. So when we talk about Broadcom NetOps solution, so we have 4 engines in Broadcom NetOps solution. So based on the requirement from the customer, when we do a discovery call and when we get the details from the customer, so we decide which engines to implement, right? So we have 4 engines. The first one is the fault management engine, and the second is the performance analytics. The third is the flow analysis, and the fifth one is the one which is going to discover your modern networks, right? So we'll go to each and every engine one by one. So when we talk about fault management engine, so fault management engine is going to discover your layer 2 and layer 3 devices. So you're going to take the IP range and you can use SNMP, right? So SNMP is mostly used here with NetOps. So we can discover layer 2 and layer 3 devices, and we can automatically create network topology using the fault management engine. And the fault management engine can also do correlations. Okay, if there are any configuration changes and because of that there is performance problem, right? So there can be 2 alarms or more than 1 alarm, okay, which will be raised on the system. The NetOps solution can automatically correlate the alarm and it can identify the root cause alarm, right? So instead of having multiple alarms, the system can give you only 1 alarm, right? So that is what we call it as suppressing of noise and then finding the root cause alarm. We can also have services configured. If you have network SLAs, we also have service management component here where you can create services and assign SLAs to your network devices, and then you can see if your SLAs are being achieved or not. The second engine is the performance management engine, which is again going to use SNMP, the major one. And in some cases, we can also collect data using non-SNMP and REST API. So once we collect the data, so this engine is going to save the data for a longer duration. So we collect information like metrics like interface utilization, bits in, bits out, CPU utilization, memory utilization. So whatever metric we collect, we can save that for a longer duration, and you can run reports using this data. So when we say run reports, we can run a trend report to understand how the metric is trending over time. We can create baselines, okay, based on the previous data, and we can also assign thresholds not on the live value. Instead, you can assign thresholds on the baseline. The system can also provide you projections. So we have the data and the system can tell you what the data or what the utilization of your interfaces will be in the next 3 months or next 6 months. So it can also provide you projections, so you can take necessary actions if you see that in next 3 months the interface is overutilizing. Right. Again, it can also do trend analysis so that you can see if there is any interfaces or devices which are underutilized or overutilized, and then you can also use this for capacity planning. If there is anything which is underutilized or overutilized, you can adjust the resources so that you can use or you can optimize the resources. The third engine is the network flow analysis engine. So this is mostly uses the net flow from your network devices, from the layer 3 devices. So it can be from Cisco, Juniper, or it can be from any vendor. So we support NetFlow, SFlow, JFlow, IPFlex. So this has to be configured on the network devices and it has to be pushed to the flow engine. The flow engine collects this data and then analyzes it. This provides the visibility into the network traffic. Okay, so what kind of traffic is flowing through your interfaces? So whenever you see a interface is overutilized, you can understand what kind of traffic is flowing to that interfaces. Okay, you can also understand which host is using more bandwidth. Okay, so it can provide you details like was there any websites that were accessed, like example YouTube or Netflix, or someone is trying to upload some data on FTP, right? So this kind of data can be shown on the dashboards with more insights with related to your applications. Okay, you can identify what kind of applications are running on your network, okay, and which applications are using more bandwidth on the on your interfaces, right? And using this you can also do capacity planning. Okay, you will know the current utilization, and then you can plan whether if you want to increase or decrease the network capacity. The fourth engine is going to monitor your the modern networks. So when we take modern networks, it can be your software defined data center, it can be a cloud network, or it can be your software defined WAN. Okay, on the left side you can see a small list of software defined data centers and software defined WANs. So we support Viptela, we support VeloCloud, Silver Peak, Cisco ACI, Meraki. Almost all the well-known software-defined network, okay, is supported by Broadcom. Even the Fortinet SD-WAN is being added, and we can monitor the software for the Fortinet SD-WAN as well. Okay, so using which we can get complete visibility to you with your physical network, and you can connect your physical network to your virtual network in one system. So you have an end-to-end topology. You know how this physical topology is, and then you also combine this virtual topology. Okay. So using this, what you can do is you can identify root cause alarm between your physical and virtual networks. So there can be issues on maybe on a virtual network or on a physical network, and that is impacting the other devices. Okay. So it can identify and can tell you that this problem on your virtual network is because of an issue on the physical device. Okay, so this kind of correlation can also be done by the virtual network assurance. And since it can provide you the root cause alarm, you can directly go to the alarm and then you can start working on it, which is going to reduce your mean time to repair, right? So we will be, if you want, we can also show you the list of software-defined vendors that is supported by Broadcom. Okay, so these are the four engines. So which all combined together, we call it as NetOps, and all these four engines is sending the data to the NetOps portal. Okay, so it is going to be a unified portal where you can see all the data related to faults, performance flows, and your software-defined network. Okay, so when we say NetOps from Broadcom, the first use case is finding faults or finding alarms. So if there is any abnormal activity, or if there is any device down or interfaces down, or it can be BGP down or maybe OSPF down. So think about any faults in your network. So as long as the data is present in SNMP MIPS, right? Because we rely on SNMP MIPS completely. So if the information is present in the SNMP MIPS, we can get that information. We can raise the alarms for you. Okay, so this is the first use case which NetOps is used for, where you can get the live alarms present on your network. The second one is the performance, which we spoke about. So we can get the performance data of your devices, and then we can use it for historical reporting. And this reports can be showed in a dashboard, or it can also be sent as an email on a scheduled basis, or you can also download this as a PDF or even in CSV format. Right. So third one is the topology. Okay, you will have an end-to-end topology of your network, which you can display it on your big screens in the NOC rooms, where you can see each and every device, and if there is any problem with any of the device, you can see the device color or maybe the link of the device changing, so that you can easily identify looking at the big screen that there is a problem on the specific device or on the specific link. We can get the configurations of your network devices. It can be startup configuration, it can be running configuration, and also you can also have network compliance, and then you can validate if all your network components are are compliant or not. We collect syslogs from your network devices if the network device is configured to send syslog messages, because in most of the cases what happens is in some cases few information is not sent via SNMP. Okay, the SNMP does not have few information, like few critical information. So you can have devices configured to send syslog messages if there is any problem, or in cases you can also do SNMP traps. So the NetOps solution can listen to the syslog messages, and then it can trigger an alert for you based on the syslog message and the content in the syslog message. Okay, and this also, whatever alarm we generate, either via SNMP or via ICMP or with syslog or with traps, we can have our correlation engine to identify the root cause and suppress the unwanted noise. Okay, so there are out of the box correlation rules, okay, which is the most commonly used correlations, which is there by default, which is going to help you out in reducing the noise in your environment. So again, software defined network, software defined data center, we think about Cisco DNAC, which is being used most of the customers started using it, or Cisco ACI. Okay, and recently people are using Fortinet SD-WAN. Okay, so as new vendors coming into market with new modern networks, right? NetOps is going to certify each and every vendor, as soon as they come into the market. And NetOps is Broadcom NetOps is the only solution in market as of today, which is supporting a huge list of vendors when we talk about the software defined network or software defined WAN. Okay, so we also do end user experience. So we can have NetOps talk to another component within the NetOps. Okay, so which is called AppNeta, which we will be discussing maybe in future webinars. So it can get user experience details for if there is any user accessing any of your websites or any of the APIs. So you can see the user experience, how the performance of an application is with respect to your network time, your server time, and then your browser time. So that data can also be taken by NetOps to show it in one pane of glass, right? So the main use case is to have all this information in one console. Okay, so these are a few capabilities where NetOps can be used, right? So each and every slide will explain you what we are doing. So the first one, we're talking about the fault. Okay, so all the faults in your network, the topology, the correlation of alarms. Okay, if there is any outages or if there is any configuration changes, you can do correlations. So you can quickly see a small video here, how the NetOps console looks like. Okay, when we see the alarms, all the alarms, live alarms in your system, and you can see the details of each and every alarm, what exactly this alarm is, which time this alarm was generated. And then you can also, on the top right, you can see what are the actions that you can take. So you can do a test like ping, and you can also do a SNMP poll, or you can also do a trace route from the console to understand where that network is getting dropped. And also you can integrate this with your ITSM solution. Out of the box, we have integrations with Broadcom Service Desk. We have with BMC Remedy. We have with ServiceNow. So there are multiple service management solutions that out of the box we have integration with, where you can create a ticket manually by clicking on the create ticket option on the right side, Or you can also create a policy where based on a search and search, you can have automatic ticket creation generated by the system. Okay, so you can drill down from an alarm. You can click on the alarm and you can get to the details of that specific alarm. So you can drill down further to each and every component within that device or within that entity, and then drill down further to see the report or the trend, and then see at which particular time or what was the trend at that particular time, okay, when the alarm was generated. So you can get into details by just drilling down from the alarm. Okay, instead of going and searching it manually, you can directly drill down from the alarm up to the inventory and then to the metric of that particular inventory. Okay, so when we talk about performance, we collect the information, okay, using SNMP or REST APIs. We store it and then we analyze it. So we analyze it, we do rollups, and then we understand the baseline. Okay, what is the baseline of this specific metric? So when we see what exactly how exactly it is shown, we can click on this, and then you can see, you can get information, and this is a dashboard, and this can be customized using the options which is available out of the box. So you can have a gauge view like this, where you can see the CPU utilization or memory utilization of specific devices. And then also you can see if there is any utilization problem on the interface level. Okay. So all these options you can see in the blue color, it's all drilled down. Okay, you can click on any component and then you can drill down further to that specific component to get more details. Okay, so in this example, as you can see, if I want to go, I see that there is a utilization of 74% on this specific device. I can drill down to see the trend, because I know right now the utilization is more. I want to see the trend at which particular time the utilization started going above the threshold. So I can go to the system health to get more details about that specific device. And then I can see based on the trend view or based on just the gauge view. Okay, so you can get this kind of details. So also we collect, once we collect the flow engine, so we identify what kind of traffic is flowing through. Okay, what is the source IP address? What is the destination IP address? Right, and what kind of protocol is being used? So if someone is trying to access, trying to load a file on FTP server, the system can tell you that, okay, this specific user was trying to upload a file on the FTP server running on IP address so and so, and then this is the total amount of data. Okay, so you will see a graph like this, where you can see the host name or the source IP address or the source interface, and then along with what kind of protocol it is and what is the total amount of data. Okay, so that was loaded. So you can filter based on the protocol, filter based on the source IP address, or you can filter based on the destination IP address. And also you can see the conversation summary. You can see conversation summary, and also you can see top talkers, right? So you can see on the right side host by volume. Okay, so which are the IP addresses that are using more bandwidth? So I can see the IP addresses. Since if you have a DNS, proper DNS configured, you will be able to see the DNS name of that specific device or specific PC. Like this specific user is consuming more bandwidth. And I can click on that specific user. Since it's a drill down option, I will be able to see what that specific user is doing. Okay, so you can see a conversation report. So you can see that user X is trying to do or trying to upload a file on the server Z or server Y. Okay, something like this. You can see it on the protocol level as well, what protocol or what port number the specific transfer was done. You can also see those details. Okay, so you can also see which are the routers that are sending more flows. Okay, so whenever you configure flow, so based on the schedule, the network devices sends the flow information to our flow collector. So you can also see which device is overutilized, which routers are overutilized. Okay, so this is about the software-defined network. Okay, so when we talk about software-defined WAN, so you want to monitor the tunnels. So you want to monitor your tunnels, your sites, which is connected using the software-defined WAN. So we do monitor VPNs, we do monitor MPLS, we do monitor BGP, but now everyone has started using software-defined WAN, right? So we can also understand how your underlay and overlay is performing, right? When we talk about that, we can see, with respect to the data loss, with respect to latency, round trip time, right? So you can have a card view like this to understand how many tunnels are I don't know, having latency which is above the threshold, which is normal, which is critical based on the threshold, and also based on other metrics as well. Here we can see here data packet loss or outbound data jitter, right? And we can also see more details about the tunnels, which tunnel is performing good, which tunnel is performing bad. And we can do this for all the software defined networks. Okay, so you name the software defined vendor. Broadcom has out of the box monitoring or connector to get the details from that specific software defined vendor. Okay, so you can see the tunnels, each and every tunnels, the performance of each and every tunnels. You can also have health indicators to understand what is the behavior of that specific tunnel. Okay, and also you can see the alarms, because what happens is software defined vendors, they provide their monitoring solutions. Okay, when we say, well, if there is software defined WAN given by Cisco, let's say Cisco ACI, so Cisco ACI itself has a solution which manages or monitors your software defined WAN. But the problem is it is going to monitor only your Cisco ACI or only the software defined network. It doesn't correlate with your physical environment, right? Because the physical environment is being monitored by another NMS tool, either using SNMP or REST APIs. But your software defined network is completely separate. So, and also another use case why we need NetOps to monitor this one is software defined monitoring tools. Let's say, for example, Cisco ACI, they create many and many alarms, so many alarms. You see hundreds and thousands of alarms on this monitoring solution, and it is too difficult for the admins to monitor, to manage it, or to identify the real root cause of the problem, right? So we get the information from the Cisco ACI manager, and then we correlate or we collect, and then we provide meaningful information in NetOps, and we also join this to the physical environment. Okay, so this is use case for network configurations, right? So network configuration captures is really important, because if there is any abnormal change, we have seen so many cases where you will be seeing that after a maintenance activity on a network device, you see that the next day you come into office and then you see that specific websites are not working, or maybe the network is down, or maybe some server is not able to, we cannot access that specific server, and because of that the production is impacted, right? So now NetOps solution from Broadcom can capture the configurations whenever there is any change on the configuration, right? Even a small single line change or multi-line change, the system can automatically or immediately capture the configuration on the device, and then it can alert you. As you can see here, the device running configuration has been changed, right? So you can click on that alarm, and then you can drill down further to see what that changes, right? And also you can see network policy with the first alarm, NCM policy violated. So most of the companies, they have network policies. So when I say network policies, compliance, I'm talking about compliance. So based on the company compliance, right? So we need to have specific lines present on the network devices, or maybe specific lines should not be present on the network devices, right? So you can have that compliance check configured on our NetOps solution. So we call it as NCM policy, right? So once we configure it, if there is any device that is not satisfying that compliance, or those lines are not present on the network device, we can alert that the administrator that these are the list of devices that are not complying. So you can see this video here where I can go from the alarm and I can see what this alarm is and what is the violation here. And we can also do a automatic repair. So we can see that this line is present as of the compliance. As per compliance, this shouldn't be present, right? So since it is present, it is marked as violated, and then I can also auto repair it. So I can repair, and then I can push the configuration which will remediate this specific problem. Okay. So this kind of automatic compliance check and remediation can also be done using Broadcom NetOps solution. Okay. So this is end user experience. This is more like getting data from another Broadcom monitoring solution. So which we'll be discussing further in future sessions. So we can get that data as well. So this is going to monitor the unmanaged network. Okay, so not using SNMP, not using REST APIs. So it is going to monitor using synthetic packets, and then we are collecting that data. The reason why we are collecting that data and showing it here is because today's environment, most of the time you see that people are using SaaS based applications. Okay, at least every company has at least one SaaS based applications, right, which is going where the traffic is going through your internet, right? So AppNet is going to monitor that, and we are putting that data here, and we are doing correlation here. So we see alarms on the ISP level or from the SaaS level, and at the same time we see alarms on the physical network devices which is owned by you. We can have correlation. We can reduce the noise, or we can reduce the number of alarms in NetOps. So that is the reason we are collecting that information and displaying it here. Okay, so this is one example of the topology, small topology. So what this explains is, so in network, the networks connections are pretty complex, and the Broadcom NetOps solution is capable to read network tables, right? Like CDP table for Cisco, or maybe spanning tree table for layer 2 devices, ARP table. Okay, so different tables based on the vendor, based on the device. The system can automatically read, and then it can automatically create connections for you, right? So once we create connections, so we have a patented algorithm from Broadcom. So this is there from almost 20 years now. Okay, so using this patented algorithm, the system can automatically find root cause if there is any network outage. So in this case, you can see one device is in red, and you can see all the other device is in on the left side. You can see all the other devices is in gray color, right? So think about a situation where you have upstream devices and downstream devices. If there is any problem on the upstream device, you cannot reach the downstream devices. So normally the NMS system out of the box, what it does is whenever the system cannot reach or using SNMP or ICMP to the remote router or switch, it treats that device as down, and then it creates alarm. Okay, so in this case, the monitoring solution cannot reach any devices on the left side, because everything has to cross through the upstream device. The upstream device itself is not working, right? So by default, out of the box, the NetOps solution can identify this problem, and then it can create only one alarm on the upstream device, and then it will suppress all the other devices on the left side. Okay, because it knows that because of this device, the other devices cannot be reached. So when you click on the alarm, it can also tell you that this alarm, okay, is impacting all the list of devices. It will put the list of devices that this specific alarm is the root cause alarm, and it is then because of this the 9 devices are being impacted, or 8 devices are being impacted. Okay, that is what we are doing it, and this is out of the box using our patented algorithm from Broadcom. Okay, so even if it is a complex environment where there are hundreds and thousands of devices, the same root cause analysis can be done, and you will be seeing very less alarms, which will be shown on the console. Okay. So this is an example of network flow. Okay, since we are collecting the network flow, you can have a dashboard like this to understand the top host. Okay, in a more clear way. Okay, in more easy way. So you can see the top host from and top host to, right? So you can see the IP addresses or the host names. If you have a proper DNS, you'll be seeing the host names, and then you can also see the total data, how much data was used by the specific host, and what is the percentage of contribution, I mean, on the network interface. Okay. And you can also see from this IP addresses to which IP address. So from 8.8.8.80 to 80.80.80.80. Okay, so we can see 1.1 GB data. So similarly, this will help you out. If there is any problem where you see that interface is overutilized, you can drill down to the flow, and then you can see why at this specific time there was a overutilization, what was happening in within the interface, what kind of traffic was flowing through. You will get the with respect to the port numbers or protocols, and then also with respect to the IP addresses. So you can have a clear understanding whether this traffic is something which is business related or if it's something which is not business related. Okay. So when we talk about multi-vendor, right? So Broadcom is supporting almost all the well-known vendors. Okay, so you can see here, there are the vendors which is there on the left side, the list of vendors which is published by Gartner. With respect to the wireless access points, controllers, even the software-defined network. So all the vendors which is there in the Gartner is supported by Broadcom. Okay. So when we say supported, it's not only doing just the discovery. Okay, it's going to discover that, it's going to monitor those, and then it's going to apply the root cause or the patented algorithm to reduce the noise. Okay, so it can provide you proactive alerting, it can provide you complete end-to-end coverage, and then it can provide you granular into metrics. Whatever metrics we collect, we can have those metrics displayed in the dashboard like this on the right side. Okay, so this is a brief introduction about NetOps solution. Okay, where we have multiple engines, where which is going to monitor your environment based on the customer requirement or based on your requirement. So it is you are entitled to implement any engine. So if the customer says, or if you don't want to monitor software defined network, so I will exclude the software defined network engine. I will only implement the first three engines, which is the fault management engine, the performance management engine, and the flow management engine. So based on the use cases, we will be implementing the engines, and then we will be sending that information, or we will be pushing this information to the unified console. So when we talk about market leadership, so Broadcom NetOps is being rated as leader when we talk about EMA radar. So Broadcom is marked as leader, as you can see on the top, top green, dark green. This was a report from 2021. Okay, so there's another report in 2023 as well. And GigaOM, is also one of the which is providing Magic Quadrants. So Broadcom has been rated as leader for last 3 years, consecutive years. Okay, so it was there 2024, 23, 22. Okay, last 3 years, Broadcom is being rated as the leader and outperformer. And there are other things as well, like PeerSpot. Even their Broadcom network monitoring solution is marked as the leader. Okay, so these are few achievements or feedbacks from customers, right? So where people have used Broadcom NetOps solution, and they have reduced the noise. Okay, so based on topology, as we said, we can discover the topology, and we can reduce the noise when there is any alarm on the upstream device. We can suppress all the downstream device noise. So this is what SAP SAP has achieved, like 85% of alarm noise detection, and also there is a health station called Bay State, where they are using Broadcom NetOps solution, right, as a single pane for alarm, and they have maintained 100% network availability. Okay, so this was also there during COVID times, where network availability for health institutions was important. So NetOps solution was able to provide 100% network availability during that time as well. Okay, so there are multiple feedbacks from software companies, from banks, from health institutions, from finance institutions. So Broadcom NetOps is used by all the big companies, okay, where they want to monitor a huge environment, okay, and also they want to reduce the noise and get 100% network availability. Okay, so this is one case study from Fujitsu where they have reduced the noise by 70%. Okay, so when we say reduce the noise, again, they have multi vendors. They have Fujitsu is using different vendors. Okay, so it's not only single vendor. So using multiple vendors, when we have multiple vendors, it is difficult to manage by monitoring solutions, right? But NetOps from Broadcom is capable to monitor almost all the vendors, and then it can provide you the same root cause analysis, and it's going to reduce the noise. Okay, so I'm just giving you examples from different from different use cases with respect to noise, with respect to different technologies like software defined WAN. So this is from Virgin Media, where they're using software defined WAN, and as you can see, they have increased 70% increase in operational efficiency. Okay, so as everyone knows, when there is software defined WAN or software defined network in place, it is very difficult to manage because it's pretty new. Okay, and at the same time there are too many complex problems. Okay, because there are so many underlying networks, right? They can be MPLS, it can be ISP, or it can be point to point. Okay, there are so many different networks involved, and it's pretty difficult to manage the operations for the software defined network. Okay, so Broadcom is going to help you out in that area as well. So another use case is from the university side. Okay, this is where they are using multiple vendors, for their Wi-Fi connections, and they have so many branches, right? So there are so many branches, and they have almost monitoring 16,000 access points where they connect. There are like 120,000 clients per day, which is getting connected to the Wi-Fi network, right? So the NetOps solution was able to monitor this huge environment, and it was also able to reduce the noise and provide was helpful to reduce the mean time to repair for the alarms. Okay, so I will leave like 10 minutes time for any questions if there is any. Okay, or if there is anything you want to ask me, you can go ahead.
Because everybody muted, please use the chat window. Please type your message, your questions, your remark into the chat window, and we'll answer to you. The first question is here. What's the value if the customer is using a single vendor? Bran?
Yeah. Okay. So single vendor, when we use, again, we said we are providing the root cause analysis. Okay. So that is the first use case when we talk about other monitoring solutions, right? The automatic root cause analysis is something which is not done by the monitoring solutions in market, right? You need to configuration rules. But out of the box, it is not done. But in Broadcom NetOps, it is done automatically, and the licensing is not complex here. So we are using device-based license. So that is something which is good in Broadcom NetOps.
Is there any other question?
Are we competing with the solution in the market? Okay. So when we talk about competition, there are few vendors like SolarWinds, and even there is Managed Engine, but it is mostly used for small and medium customers, not for large enterprise. And there is also Riverbed. Okay, so these are the most commonly common vendors. Okay, we compete with in network monitoring space.
Okay, because no additional questions arrived. Statish.
I think that's the question. Is a multi-tenancy again? It was blue. Yeah, very good question. Yes, Broadcom NetOps solution multi-tenancy is supported, and we have many MSP providers who are using Broadcom NetOps solution, and they are providing services to different customers. Okay, it is supported out of the box.
Okay, it seems that no additional question came, so we will close the first session now, and in the next few days we will release the recorded version of this session. Thank you, Pam. Thanks for the attention on the audience side. I hope the delivered content information was useful. If you have additional question, then I share my contact information on the webcam. Please read the QR code and contact with me. I will forward the questions for Prem and other CA colleagues. Thank you again. Have a nice day, or see you on the second session after 15 minutes. You see the second session registration link in the chat window, so feel free to register. It's free. We won't approve, or system automatically will approve. And as I mentioned, after 15 minutes, approximately 15 minutes, we will continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kalman.